he was received by a crowd welcoming him as he turned off his motorbike engine after completing a 41-day trip to raise funds to fight polio in his native Nigeria. Kunle Adeyanju departed London on the 19th of April and arrived in Nigeria's commercial hub, Lagos, on Sunday after slogging through more than 13,000 kilometers across 13 countries. His aim was to raise funds for Rotary International's fight against polio, which remains a threat in Africa despite being eradicated in 2020. Adeyanju celebrated with supporters after arriving at the Ikeja Rotary Club in Lagos. Popularly called Lionheart by fans, he became popular by posting daily pictures and videos of his journey on social media. In Senegal, Ghana, and even in countries battling jihadist insurgencies like Mali and Burkina Faso, Adeyanju posed for selfies with fans and local officials, waving a banner saying, quote, "End polio now." Now, Adeyanju said he embarked on the epic journey in memory of a friend who was affected by polio. Let's listen to him as he explains why he embarked on this daring trip.
A lot of people have been asking, why are you doing this? And the first thing I say to them is, why not? And for me, it's one of, just before I die thing, one of my bucket lists, those things I want to do on this earth. So, doing it, then it occurred to me that, okay, if I'm going to do this, which is one of those things I want to do, can I make it more robust? Can I use it to impact people and to touch people's lives? And I say, yes, why not tie it to a charity? And which is why I tied it to the Rotary charity to raise funds to address some of those daring needs in some of these communities, like the primary health care, water, sanitation, and also rural empowerment. Also, a larger chunk, about 20% of the fundraise will be going into supporting the Polio Plus Foundation. I hope you know that the Polio Plus, yes, we still have it in Afghanistan, but the problem is, as long as it is in one country, people travel, people fly here and there, it can still go around anywhere, just like COVID.
Kunle Adeyanju there. Now, let's cross over to our Lagos studio where Adeyanju, the man who made the daring trip, is standing by. He is an entrepreneur, a businessman, an adventurer, and of course a Rotarian. So good to have you on the show, and sorry for the earlier technological glitch that we had. Tell us about the experiences you've had since arriving in Nigeria on May 29, and of course we've seen some of the some traditional honors being accorded you in Offa and all of that, and you've come back to Lagos now. Tell us how Nigerians are receiving you actually.
Well, first, thank you for having me. And since coming into Lagos, we're Nigeria now on the 29th of May. It's been really mind-blowing. It's been quite nice. I have a lot of people actually reaching out to me, telling me the good things I've done, how they got inspired by the whole thing, how they found, the reason to be alive again, to live and rather than exist. So it's been quite exciting, and it's also felt good to be recognized, for having done such a very difficult thing, and not doing it for myself, but doing it to give back to the community, to try to solve some of those little problems we have in the world. I guess that was why, the reception I got from my hometown, and even why a lot of people trooped to Same Border to welcome me, and the traditional ruler in my hometown decided to offer me, bestow upon me a chieftaincy title in recognition of, bringing so much glory, not only to my hometown, but to Nigeria and Africa at large. So it's really been quite a positive, it turned out quite good. It's been nice.
Okay. Very good experience indeed. Now let's talk about the need to create more awareness on polio. Some Nigerians were actually surprised, saying that, we've been told by the health authorities that polio had been kicked out of the country. So why would you be embarking? Why not embark on a trip against coronavirus, which is the hottest thing in town? Why did you choose polio?
Well, polio for me, yes, Nigeria was certified polio-free some few years back, but the virus is still very much with us. We don't have manifestation of the virus in the children because of the immunization that we've given to the kids. And the point is, because everybody is celebrating this polio certification, that we're free, we've become complacent. And the point is, when you get complacent, you lose eyes from you lose focus. And when you lose focus, you're open for a sucker punch. So if we remain complacent, thinking because we are certified polio-free, the virus is gone. That is not true. Because the virus is still here, it's not affecting people because people got immunized. So we have to do those things we continue to do that got us, certified polio-free. And for polio, I chose polio because, polio is a personal fight to me because I know the danger. I've experienced, real time and in person how that affects and impacts people's life. Yes, there are so many problems in the world. COVID is there, malaria is there, so many things, but you just pick what resonates with you. That thing you really like, that thing you believe in, and where you can put, like when you do things that you believe in, you don't struggle, it flows naturally. But when it's something that you don't really, like believe in so much, like they tell you, when you get a job that you love, and if you work 100 years, you wouldn't have worked for one day in your life, you just be doing that thing you like. So it's like that. Polio for me was a personal fight. I had a friend that had polio. I know how difficult this was for him. And I said to myself, when we lost my friend 3 years ago, and I said, if there's something I can do to make sure another child somewhere doesn't go through this pain again, then I'm going to do it. And that was why I tied it to polio. So the threat is still here. It's a clear and present danger. If we do nothing and we become complacent, all the good works that everyone has done in the last 20 years, 30 years, is going to go down the drain and we're back to square one. So my drive is to get everybody to know that the threat is still here, the danger is still here, and we cannot afford to be complacent.
Okay, and some people want to wonder how you were able to fuel your bike all through from London. How were you carrying extra fuel? I mean, when I see you going through the Sahara Desert, I just keep wondering, what if your fuel gets exhausted in the midst of the desert where there's no one? What do you do? And the dangers of the road, of course.
Yeah, you see, everything is all about planning. Before going on this drive, it actually took me a year to build a plan and to plan for how do I navigate through everywhere, but most importantly, the Sahara, because the Sahara is one of the most inhospitable places on earth. The Sahara is not your friend. It doesn't forgive. The margin for error in the Sahara is so slim. You make a mistake, you may not come back home. That's the thing with the Sahara. So doing my bike selection is also part of those reasons how that inform into my planning process. If I give you an example, the tank capacity of my bike is 17 liters, right? I have a reserve tank, which is 5 liters attached to the bike. So I have a total liter of 22 liters when I'm filled up. Now, the 22 liter can give me 625 kilometers range on the bike. Now, what I did was to take that 625 kilometer range, plot it on a map, and I make sure that before I exhaust that 625 kilometer range, it lands me from my takeoff point into where I'm going into either a town, a village, or a city where I can get those life support services like water, food, fuel, and even a place to sleep. So basically, it takes a lot about planning, and that's actually how I was able to navigate through the Sahara.
This experience, in Mauritania, if I may call it a nasty experience, like you had said in your write-up on social media, that country was unfriendly to you, you felt so bad, you were almost being cheated of your finances here and there. Have you been reached out to by the Mauritanian authorities by chance? Because, a lot of persons felt bad on your behalf too, after having gone through such experiences.
Well, my write-up, I don't know how it happened, but it got to the Mauritanian president. And the Mauritanian president mandated his ambassador to, find out what happened. So in unofficial capacity, the Mauritanian ambassador contacted the Nigerian ambassador in Senegal, who found me out, contacted me, and we met. And in an official capacity, I said, he apologized to me on behalf of the people of Mauritania. The thing is, like, there are a lot of bad people everywhere, and also there are a lot of good people. Maybe I was just unfortunate to meet everyone I met in my transit through Mauritania were all bad people who cheated, who used every available opportunity to rob me of my money. But the thing is, okay, I'll give you an example, basically what happened. The state of Mauritania actually did a redenomination of their currency some 5 months back. And what happened is a euro used to go for 400 Uguya. Uguya is their currency. But when they did the renomination, a euro became 40 Uguya. But when you go in there as a tourist, what happened is they still sell things to you at the old Uguya. So I give you an example. I went to a restaurant just to eat burger and a coffee, Americano, black coffee. And when they gave me the bill, I was charged $100. And I couldn't understand, how can I eat just one burger and a black cup of coffee for $100? So it was really, like a big shock to me. And I realized this happened everywhere I went entering the country, at the gas station, in the hotel, in the restaurant. Even when I was going to board the badge to leave Mauritania, the cost of the badge was 40 euro, but they ended up collecting 400 euro from me. So I felt cheated, it was painful. And that's actually what made me to write about my experiences in that country when I discovered what they were doing to tourists. And that got to the attention of their president, who mandated the ambassador. And the good thing I had, good thing in the sense that people in that country will learn not to treat tourists that way again. I learned all the people who did all those tough things, all those bad things to me are now in prison. And that shows that the president, the leader of the country is actually interested in changing the narrative of Mauritania. So, like I said, they've apologized to me and I've accepted their apology.
Okay, very good of the president and of course the leadership of the country. As we try to round off this conversation, how fulfilled do you think you are, Adeyanju, for having embarked on this trip and sent a very strong warning? And do you by chance have been able to raise some funds to help support polio causes across the nation and of course globally?
Yeah, I feel quite fulfilled, doing the trip. Actually, the truth is, I never knew it was going to take this dimension, I was just doing my thing, living my life, trying to, help in a way I could. But when it took a global dimension, as they say, if nature trusts something to you, and you just ride the wave. So I'm just riding the wave, and I feel fulfilled about it because I was able to touch a lot of people. I was able to inspire quite a lot of people, about it. A lot of people found reason to live rather than exist. And have we been able to raise money? The answer is yes, we've raised quite a lot of money, from the feelers I've gotten. But if you ask me how much we've raised total by now, the answer is I don't know. And why don't I know is because I don't have access to the account, because all the donation goes into the Rotary account. And I'm going to get a statement. People are going to provide me what we've done raised so far. I'm going to be back in the country in the next few days. So I will be able to know what we've totally raised, and we can share the news with everyone in the world. And this is what we're able to do with #LondonToLagos.
What next for you as a person? And of course, I don't know if you have plans of maybe auctioning your bike or keeping it in a museum, because this bike it's become a very, very powerful instrument of expression of that will of yours to actually move from London to Nigeria. What do you intend to do with yourself? And then, of course, this bike that took you through all this journey.
Well, Eagle, the bike is named Eagle. Over the course of the trip, he became my best friend, my closest companion, the only thing I got to talk to. And I discovered that, machines, they also have soul. We may think they are just metal, but they have soul, because I spoke to Eagle a lot on the trip during difficult moments, and the bike does respond back to me. We communicate. So what do I want to do with the Eagle? For me, it's going to be disrespectful for me to be riding Eagle, just using as a street bike, because it's done that very big and great thing. It was a teamwork between me and Eagle. So I'm going to be auctioning Eagle, and I hope whoever ends up buying Eagle is going to be in a museum where people can see. People can not only hear the story, a generation coming before us don't only need to hear, but let them see. So I hope it ends up in a museum where somebody will keep it, or maybe the government will keep it, and people can actually see. Then about myself, what do I plan to do? I'm going to buy another bike, and I'm going to do my next adventure. And if you're going to ask me what's my next adventure going to be, my next adventure is I'm going to be...
Go ahead, just go ahead. Go on? Yeah.
Yes, I said my next adventure is going to be riding from Lagos to Israel, just passing through Israel, then to Tibet. Then I actually want to ride on the Tibetan plain, because that's the highest plain you have in the world, the highest plateau in the world. And They say God lives in Tibet because of the high level of purity you see in Tibet. So I want to experience that purity. Actually, I'm also passing through there. My destination actually is Everest. I'm going to go right to Everest Base Camp, then drop my bag, then try to climb Everest. So that's what I'm doing with myself in the next 2 years.
All right, you have a very tough job ahead of you, but we must thank you, and we're so glad to have you back in the country. And I'm very sure all your family members are so excited to actually have you at home and then, you know, having dinner with you. But we must thank you so much, and we wish you well in your future endeavors. And stay safe. That's all we can say for now. Kunle Adeyanju, the Nigerian biker adventurer that traveled from London all the way through several countries down to Nigeria here, and we must thank you for joining us on the show. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of the Arise interview. Do join us again tomorrow. From me and the entire team here in Abuja, goodbye and thank you for watching. I'm Sonny Samuel.